this is the longest we've gone since we started this podcast that we haven't recorded together.
What, like 4 days?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
I know. I was sitting there like, oh my God, Rosie's going to think I've lost interest in doing this, because yesterday my brain was all over the place with job stuff and whatnot, and I was like, oh no, she's going to think
I
I don't
can't
wanna do this
believe
anymore.
after like 26 years of friendship, we still overthink things in our relationship. Like,
Every day, all the time. I always think that you hate me. I don't know. Is that just me?
you do not think that.
No, but I think you're mad at me all the time.
What?
I literally say that to you all the time. When was it recently that I asked if you were mad at me?
Well, you
were
asked
like-
if I was mad at you because I kept on shouting at you for interrupting me, and you were like,
oh yeah, we came off the recording, and I was like, you know, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just can't help it. And
you were
"Yeah,
like, you can just delete all of me talking if you want to, and I was like, yeah, because that's gonna help with the flow, isn't it? Good one.
And it's so weird because, like, today, I don't give a crap. I know you love me. You don't get mad at me.
Obviously.
Tomorrow, I might be insecure and I'll be like, oh no, we're not friends anymore.
Welcome to our podcast.
Oh, sorry. Hello and welcome to our podcast.
26 to life. Where after 26 years of friendship, we have been friends for longer than life sentence.
So now Rosie and I tell each other true crime stories twice a week from the UK that the other one hasn't heard before, and we argue and get mad. And I was listening to our Alex Skill one the other day, and I realised that's the first time you've been mad, and I feel like I'm always mad. And
Which one?
Alex Skill.
Yeah, that one got me.
That one did
really
get you.
me.
And I think the reason this one I'm not more sad in it, I am sad, and I've had to turn off some interviews and recordings because I couldn't do it. But the reason I'm not more sad and actually think I'll be able to get through this one is because I'm so mad about it. But before we get into it, our podcast always contains difficult topics, and today is no exception. We are looking at harm to a minor, talks of suicide, and drug use, and just, yeah, it's just all bad. Anyway, the other thing I was going to say is please go and please go and follow us on all our social media things. We are 26 to life _pod on Instagram and TikTok, and we are 26 to life pod on YouTube and Spotify. The best thing you can do to support us is share our social media stuff and give us a 5-star review and all that jazz. It would mean the world. So, are you ready?
Now you've said all of that, no, I don't think that I am, but
I've got to kind of caveat it by saying it jumps around a bit and nothing makes sense and is in order, and the reason being is because this is not a completed open and closed case. So there's speculation, there's rumours that we just want to avoid, there's obviously differing information that comes from the police and that comes from the family. I had the privilege of speaking to the mum in this case, just over social media. So we were going to have a phone call, but we just weren't able to set that up, and that's fair enough. I just don't want to badger somebody who emotionally may not be up to talking to some randomer like me. And her main thing to me was, thank you so much for doing this, and we need to get this case out there. However, please be careful of misinformation. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is going to be coming directly from her interviews, but I'll explain as we go.
okay, perfect.
I was on Threads and I said which cases have not received the recognition that they deserve, and this is what was requested or recommended to me. And this is the case of the death of, say this surname for me, it's Irish, Donohoe. Donohoe.
Yeah.
Okay. This, if I've gotten that wrong, I'm so sorry. In the Irish accent, they say it, and I keep listening to it thinking, I can say that, and then I try and say it, and I can't say it.
Yeah, if they get an English accent, or it always sounds
It
wrong.
sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the case of the death of Noah Donohoe in Northern Ireland in 2020. So 5 years
long.
ago
Yeah.
now. But
Yeah, but it still feels like so recent. At the
Rose,
same
what was
time.
going on in 2020?
Oh God, don't even. I've like stricken that whole year from my brain. Except for that was the year that I moved in with you. So the last 2 months were good.
A lot of eating and baking for us. This is before you moved in with me. So I'm going to introduce you to the family. We have 14-year-old Noah. He's very tall, very slim, beautiful, massive smile, and he's just like bubbly. Like, you just look at him, he's just a kid. He's just a 14-year-old child.
Yeah.
And he is also, I should point out, he is mixed race. Now, quite a lot of people say you're not allowed to say mixed race anymore. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
But I'm mixed race.
Maybe it just depends on the context, because because people who are mixed
So Noah's
race,
mum
like
refers to him as mixed race. So
like a
that's
mix
why I
of
feel okay.
races, isn't it? But
yeah.
it's,
But then people say you have to say dual heritage now. But the reason why that confused me, because if you're dual heritage of, let's say, I don't know, Swedish and Dutch,
you're still white.
Yeah. And so I'm not describing my heritage, then I'm describing my skin tone.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was a similar skin tone to me.
Okay.
Imagine. Beautiful, big smile.
But what was his heritage then?
So his mum is Irish and his dad is from Senegal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And his mum is called Fiona, and she's a healthcare assistant. And she had been a nanny in America, and that is where she had met Noah's father, who was from Senegal. But when she became pregnant with Noah, she wanted to return home to Ireland, because she says she was technically there illegally, so she wouldn't have had, the health insurance and everything.
Yeah,
that she
the
needed
same
to give
rights.
birth.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So she came back to Ireland, and when Noah is 5 years old, they move from where she's from originally to Belfast, because there's just more opportunities for them there, and
and because you wouldn't be able to tell the story if they weren't in Northern Ireland.
No, she was still from Northern Ireland.
Okay.
So she was still from Northern Ireland. But yeah, anyway, so now they live in Belfast, and she does
He's
say
5 years old.
He's about 5 years old, and she does say that they experience some racism. There's a lot of Irish history that comes up in this case, but I'm not going to dwell on it too much, because it's very easy to get it wrong.
Did his dad move back with them? He stayed. Okay.
He stayed over in America. So from what I can tell, he doesn't.
America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you confused?
I didn't think that you said that they were in America.
She was nannying in America.
Oh, yes.
She got pregnant. Yep. By Fiona's own admission, he's in a single-parent family. They're in social housing, and he is mixed race. So that's a tough upbringing. And they are just best friends. Single parents and their children have a relationship. Now, obviously, I can't speak for everyone, but I know from my experience, you have a bond like no other. You are each other's entire world. She describes Noah as her soulmate. And I mean, I've always described Leo as the love of my life. It doesn't matter. That he just is. He is the love of my life. And you can just tell when Fiona's talking about Noah that that's how she feels about him. And during COVID, a crisis hostel opens up near to where they are living. So Fiona feels that the people who are hanging around from this hostel are attracting other people who are causing issues. And I can see when she's talking about this, she's struggling, because she's trying so hard to not be judgmental, and she's trying so hard to make it very clear that she's not a snob or someone, she's just saying that they were attracting other people. And, like, there was a drug overdose in the air, like the flats where they lived. Somebody overdosed.
And it's not that you're judging or assuming. It's like, she's worried about her safety and the safety of her son, It's not
exactly.
Like they could do what they want, and she probably knows and understands that they're going through a hardship, but she doesn't want it to be impacting her family, and her son is always going to be her priority.
Exactly. And she says there's open drug deals going on, that they can see where they live, and she just feels nervous. Like, her baby's going to school every day, and it's just
having to walk past here and stuff like that, you know.
Exactly. And so Fiona complained to the managers because she was worried about it. She felt uncomfortable, and she said that she feels that her and Noah would have been very distinctive for knowing that they had made a complaint. So Fiona has this short blonde hair, but it's in really tight, beautiful blonde ringlets. So it's like a bob, but, you know, you'd think she'd got on a perm, but she's got these stunning blonde ringlets. She might have had a perm, actually, I don't know. But it looks beautiful anyway. It's really, really distinctive hair. And Noah, being her son, being mixed race, they are a very distinctive pair out and about. And so she's saying, would they have known that we've made this complaint? Now, Noah went to a school that they refer to as St. Malachy's. Can I just read you this spelling and you tell me how you would say it? Malachy.
I don't know, because I know someone called Malachi, but that was spelt with an I on the end.
Same, that's what I was saying. So I don't know if I'm trying to say it how an Irish person would say it and just sounding like an idiot, or if it is... Anyway, he went to a grammar school, St. Malachy's, and so clearly he's bright. You know, in order to get into a grammar school, it's not even just about academics. It is also about the support that you get at home, because you need to prep for those exams. Do you remember when me and you were meant to do the grammar school tests?
Yeah, and then you
and
quit,
we had to
so I was like, well, then I don't want to go to a grammar school either.
We had one, like, lessons with about 4 other students every lunchtime in the head teacher's office. Can you imagine anything worse? In the head teacher's office, doing these practice papers. And then I went, I don't want to do this anymore. This is awful. And you were like, I don't want to do this anymore either. And
I was sitting there like, leaving. I'm only doing this because you're doing this. Like, what am I doing here then?
And we were too scared to say anything. Anyway, so he's very bright, but he's also obviously got the support from home. And he plays rugby, he plays basketball, he plays cello. Do you remember when you played the violin?
Oh, yeah. I played the violin, I played the guitar, we did recorder. Oh, I did it. I did it.
Everyone did recorder.
I tried saxophone when I was in secondary school, and I had to take that back on the bus. And that was the only time I ever did it, because I was like, there is no way I'm being that nerd that's got a saxophone on the bus. I was like, no way. So I never did that again.
The saxophone is actually a great instrument, but the fact that you have to lug it back and forth, and for what?
Just let me leave it at the school.
Like, you know, I'm not practicing at home anyway.
Yeah.
Did you not say, like, I live in a bungalow with 4 sisters?
Literally, I was already a loser at secondary school. I did not need to be seen carrying a saxophone around on my back.
Fiona just describes him as, not only is he intelligent and well behaved, but he just causes her no issues. You know, he's not the kind of kid, just a sweetheart. He's not getting phone calls home every 5 minutes and da-da-da.
Just like your sweet boy, I can understand why you...
Yeah, well, he's kind of growing out of that now, isn't he?
No.
We get to June the 20th, so...
of 2020.
Of 2020. So, correct me if I'm wrong. We've had the lockdown.
Yeah,
then in the summer...
It started in, like, February, March, I think.
Yeah. Summer, we are kind of coming out of that lockdown, but there's no vaccine yet. There's nothing really in place. It was all just a bit weird. It was this weird period where people could see each other, but we were all still spreading this disease. So,
but then you went back into another lockdown after that, didn't you?
Yeah. Why me? You were there.
No, I wasn't. I didn't get to England until October.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we went into another lockdown. Do you remember? Because I was so upset that they announced the day we broke up for Christmas that we weren't allowed to spend Christmas with family. And I was there and I was fuming, and I was a teacher. And I was like, all this time I've been around all these kids and now I'm not allowed to spend Christmas with my family. I was livid.
Yeah, but then we did, because they said the whole bubble thing, right?
Yeah, so we just went, but originally, I think it was because they got so much backlash, but originally they said, no, you can't see anyone, so we just moved into my parents for the Christmas period.
How crazy that actually happened. Like, that was our life, like everybody's life, that there were actual restrictions on.
Do you know whose life it wasn't?
Who?
The politicians. Boris
Sorry,
Johnson
what?
having his party, and what was the other guy? Fanny McFunny Pack having his affair with his secretary.
Oh, yeah.
She wasn't a
Classic.
secretary, actually. Do you know
Doesn't
his
make sense.
wife owned Oliver Bonus? Great shot, yeah. And then he went on I'm a Celebrity. That was weird. Like, I can't believe the world sort of existed then. Anyway, back to my story. June 20th, he goes to meet his friend Jay, and obviously he's so excited. First time they've seen each other since this lockdown, and it's been 3 months, not seen any of his friends, and, you know, it's just exciting. And they plan that the next day, on June the 21st, they are going to go and see another one of their friends at a place called Cave Hill, not far from where their school was. So a journey that they take all the time, not a problem. Noah says to his mum that he's leaving about 5:30, and she doesn't really want him to go because he hasn't had his dinner yet. She says tea. Hasn't had his tea yet. What did you call it?
Probably dinner.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I mean, I was at Jack's parents' house a couple of weeks ago, and
Did they say supper?
No, well, they said that they had something for tea, and then supper, and then dinner. They had, like, they're all 3 different things at 3 different times of the day.
They sound like the hobbits from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I need to be in this household, having 3 dinners.
I can understand having tea, afternoon tea, kind of, you know, when you have tea and biscuits.
No,
But then
I think this was like tea at like 4, and then supper at 6, and then dinner at 8. Or maybe the other way around. I don't know. I'll have to check
no,
with
that
them.
one makes sense. But yeah, I would not be able to live in that house. I would be humongous.
Yeah, but they say a little bit often is good for your metabolism.
That is true. That's my problem. I'm big and often.
Yeah, a lot and often.
A lot and often, yeah. Anyway,
there's no in between for me. It's either a lot and often, or
nothing.
A lot or never.
Never, yeah. Oh, it's 4 o'clock and I haven't eaten anything yet.
Yeah,
and then the next day it's like, oh, it's 10 o'clock and I've eaten everything that's in the fridge.
Yeah.
And that pack of giant Oreos is calling to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
June 21st.
So I say I've got giant Oreos downstairs and I can't wait to eat them after this. Anyway, so she says she doesn't want him to go yet because he hasn't had his tea, but he's been missing his friends and he's not seen them in ages, and she just wants him to go and have fun.
But also, it's 5:30. I know that doesn't get late, but like that's a lot, quite late for a teenager to be just going out. Is it not?
No. In the summer, a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
No.
Huh. I would
No.
never. Interesting. Okay.
When I was 14, 15, I was wild child.
But, yeah, you were.
No, that to me is quite... I mean, now, in the dark, I expect Leo to be home at 4:30. Yeah, anyway.
But in the summer, probably not so much. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So she says you have to be back by 8 p.m, right? And Noah has a phone, but he doesn't have any minutes or credit or whatever it was left on it. So she said, you must call me when you meet up with the boys. Right, call me off of one of their phones. So Noah leaves his house at 5:41, and he's going on his bike, and he's said to be wearing a black skateboard helmet, a khaki green North Face jacket over a hoodie, grey shorts, but like tracksuit type shorts, and then he's got his backpack, which in it has his phone, a book, and his laptop, because he's doing work to get extra credits for his Duke of Edinburgh.
Right.
Before we move on, can you just explain what the Duke of Edinburgh Award is? I feel like it's an English thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So there are different awards. There's bronze, silver, and gold, and it's like a scheme to encourage kids to volunteer, to do more outside activities, to kind of just be better citizens. And so for each one, you have to do a certain amount of hours of volunteering. You have to do different tasks, and then at the end of it, you'll get your award, like a certificate to say I've completed the bronze Duke of Edinburgh Award. And it's just about like kind of, I don't know, making better members of the community, you know? I
And
think
what
that was the
would
whole
be-
purpose of the Duke of Edinburgh.
Why would students want to do it? What's the incentive to do it?
I mean, it's good on like college applications, university applications. It's just to show. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I think
don't
that's
think
the
it
main
really,
thing, isn't it?
yeah,
And
it
it's
doesn't
fun.
really,
Like you go on
yeah,
camping
a camping
trips
trip
and things like
yeah,
that.
you go like
Learn
camping and
survival
trekking, yeah.
techniques.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean as much when you're older, so jobs don't really care so much. But for college and university, it was like a big deal to
Yeah,
have that on your
set you
applications.
apart.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's not dark. It's nice and early. It's June, and he's 14. And Fiona says he's very responsible. If he said he's going to call his mum, he's going to call his mum.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she's thinking it's not dissimilar to the journey he does to school. So again, not. Why would you worry about this? You know?
Yeah.
But it gets to 6:30 and he hasn't called. And she said if he's left at 5:41, he should have called by about 6:10 from what I remember. I haven't written it down, but I'm pretty sure it was about half an hour away, maybe less. So for lots of parents, and this is me explaining, for lots of parents, I'd be like, my kid's an idiot. I told them to call me and they haven't called me. And she's saying, no way, he would know that I worry. And I wonder whether it's to do with kind of the area you grow up in and the sort of how sheltered you feel in your little bubble. And if he doesn't if he feels like home is his safe space, school is his safe space, but where he lives can be a bit scary, he wouldn't want his mum to worry. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had the argument with Leo, like, call me, answer the phone. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah, but I mean, I don't know about Fiona's upbringing, but like my mum had like certain traumas in her life, and I feel like that made her a lot more worried about us being out and about. And so her worrying kind of, us being exposed to her worrying kind of made us worry more about it. So we were so much more aware because, I don't know, it's just like kind of one of those learned behaviours. Yeah, exactly. So perhaps that was something as well. But I mean, not that it's necessarily a bad thing, and it does just mean that he should have known. So she knew that he would have known, you know?
Yeah. So for me, if I was expecting you to be somewhere at 6:10 and it gets to 6:30, my reaction is, you shouldn't be worrying because your kid's an idiot and he'll do that. For her, it's like, no, this is not. But she is trying. She's just trying to be rational and, you know, and she's saying she wants this to never happen to another parent. You know, she is the biggest advocate for other young people who go missing or who die in suspicious circumstances. She's the biggest advocate, and one of the things she said is her biggest regret is not having those other two boys' numbers because she didn't have their contact details.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, you're like, Mum, it's so embarrassing. But actually, give your mum the number. You know?
Yeah.
Leo wants people to come round to our house, and he doesn't really care, but a lot of kids find it weird because I'm like, yeah, you're not allowed in my house unless I have your parents' number. And your parents should want to have my number. It's weird to, you know. But anyway, so that's her big thing is, you know, I didn't have his number. And she's trying not to overreact, but she is now starting to panic as it's getting later and later and later into the evening. And do you remember when we were on the phone once and Leo was meant to be back from the park at 4:30 and it got to 4:30 and he just didn't answer his phone to me, and I was like, okay, he'll be fine, but you know, I am going to call the police in 5 minutes. And I was like, I'm going to go and walk around to the park and I'm going to go and do this, and I'm tracking him on his phone, and you're trying to stay calm and stay rational, but
you know that these things happen. There's just a part of you that says it's not going to happen to me, but there's the other part of you that knows that these things do happen. So
and you also think, what if I wait that 10 minutes and that's the 10 minutes that he's being beaten up?
Yeah, exactly.
What if I wait 5 minutes and that's the 5 minutes that he's being abducted? You know, because things happen so fast.
Yeah, you would rather be the crazy mum that shows up at 4:31 and is like shouting his name down around the park than be the mum that's 5 minutes late and it's already too late,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it gets to 9:45, we're an hour and 45 minutes after curfew, and
Yeah.
Fiona's like, absolutely not. She's calling the police.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So at this point, we don't know if he even made it to see his friends.
No, we know nothing. And Fiona's terrified by this point. And tragically, Noah will never be seen again alive. So now when Fiona calls the police and reports that he's missing, the police later will go on to report about this phone conversation that they had with Fiona. And I've read so many legal documents that are just legal jargon, blah, 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 blah. But
yeah,
this case has gone to the ombudsman.
Mm-hmm.
And the ombudsman is the person who essentially, we have them in different... Oh, I'm so bad at explaining things like this. We have an ombudsman for different reasons. So if you believe that somebody's scammed you, we will have a completely impartial financial ombudsman who you send this thing to.
Yeah, yeah.
This ombudsman, I'm just guessing, has been brought into this because Fiona needs someone impartial outside of the judicial system.
Almost like a mediator type person.
Exactly. Yeah. And they can make a final decision. But anyway, one of the things that they have said in their report is that Miss Donohoe told the police that she was worried about Noah's present state of mind and had been worried about his mental health for some time. And what Fiona's saying is, no, when they ask you questions about, has he ever been depressed or miserable or blah, 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 he's a hormonal teenager.
Yeah.
They all, we should be worried about every teenager's state of mind. They are all a mess.
Yeah.
We can't be saying that because he's... Sorry, can you hear the dog? He sat behind me like...
that was on. I thought that was you.
He's curled up right behind my chair like... He is a hormonal teenager.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean anything. But anyway, from Monday the 22nd of June to Saturday the 26th of June, they search for Noah. And I mean, everyone is searching for Noah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The family... That whole week, I can only imagine what she's going through, what the whole family are going through.
Oh, you can't.
For 5 days. Bloody hell.
Have you seen the Simpsons movie where they put that big glass dome over a section?
Yeah.
I think those should exist. When children go missing, within the first 5 minutes, we put a dome over that area. No one's in or out. Shut this place down. We are finding my child. That's what should happen. The family, the volunteers, so many people come out searching, but no arrests or anything are made. One arrest is made to a 26-year-old man who decided to make a video online mocking Noah's family.
Oh, what an idiot. Where do these people come from? I just do not understand.
Who raised you? Honestly?
Yeah, who
raised you?
Yeah. What do you get out of that? What do you actually gain from doing something like that? It just...
But even if you were raised by bad people or people who would find that kind of thing funny, do you then not grow up and think, oh, I'm an idiot? But no. And 26, you're an adult. You're a fully grown adult. Anyway, so I'm hoping I haven't looked into him, but I'm guessing he's doing life in prison without the possibility of parole for being such an utter waste of space.
It's open.
Noah's naked body is found in a storm drain behind an address in Northwood Road. A storm drain. Do you know what a storm drain is? I was confused by this. To me, a storm drain is the grates in the side of the pavement where the excess water runs off. So
yeah,
I was thinking, how is there a body there, right? But then somebody on YouTube did an actual video of the storm drain that Noah's body was found in. So I'm going to describe it in just a second. So Noah's naked body has been found. 6 days later, 27th, he is found. Now we have SUPT, which is, I think, Superintendent SUPT Muir Clark, SUPT is Superintendent, I'm sure it is, Muir Clark, and he comes out, don't worry guys, we found the body, but there's no foul play.
What? I mean, as soon as you said naked body in a storm drain, I was like, foul play.
Who's murdered him? Yeah, who's murdered him?
Yeah. What?
No. They've not done an autopsy yet. They've just
Wait.
found the naked body of a child in a storm drain, and he's going, tragic, but, couldn't be helped.
Accidents happen.
Accidents happen. What? You absolute dingbat. This is the most suspicious thing I've ever heard. And no.
What's his name?
Supt Muir Clark. Chill out. You've not done an autopsy yet. Shut up with your because they go on to say, don't speculate. You're speculating. Yeah. What do you mean, no foul play?
Let's not jump to conclusions here.
So, the police's conclusion, keep an open mind. Noah was depressed and went into the storm drain to kill himself. The autopsy shows his cause of death was drowning, and there was no evidence of a physical head injury. Okay? Can you make an open mind face, please? Interesting conclusion. So now we're going
wait, what do you mean by no sign of a physical head injury?
I just need you to remember that point. The police are saying he's gone into the storm drain by himself, the 14-year-old boy, because he's depressed. He's died by drowning intentionally. It was suicidal. It was suicide. He was suicidal. And there's no head injury.
I know that you're probably going to cover this anyway, but I cannot imagine how old was he? 15? 14? A 14-year-old boy thinking, I'm going to kill myself, and then undresses. Because even as a 14-year-old girl, if I knew that I was not that I'm 14 right now, but when I was a 14-year-old girl, if I had thought, oh my gosh, I want to die, I wouldn't then be thinking, you know what, when everyone finds me, I want to be naked. Even something like that just doesn't make that believable to me, because someone's not going to do that. Because unless you're on drugs or you have some other mental issues that you're dealing with, I can't imagine that a healthy 14-year-old is going to think, yeah, I want to be naked when everyone finds me. You're still thinking about what happens to your body after that. You're still thinking about those things, and I just can't imagine. I know that that's me just speculating, and
okay, but let's say that's your opinion on that bit. In what world does a 14-year-old think, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to climb down a storm drain?
Yeah, because and drown
what is
myself.
The guarantee that, what's the guarantee that you're even going to die? You might just be stuck in a massive storm drain.
Yeah.
I should probably take this time to explain what a storm drain is. Okay, so, storm drain. I want you to imagine a big grate on the floor, metal grate, right? Mm-hmm. And it opens like a... yeah?
Mm-hmm. On a hinge,
it opens... what's like double doors, it opens, and you can padlock it in the middle, and underneath that there is a big tunnel thing, so if there's a huge storm and there's excess rain, the water has somewhere to drain out from.
Do we have those in London?
I don't think so. I think it's in places where they are more prone to flooding.
Interesting. Okay,
so that's the police's theory. He's climbed into this storm drain and he's died, and he's known that that's what he's going to do. He's stripped off naked and he's done that. We're now going to discuss why this is utter nonsense
absolute poppycock.
I am an actual idiot with no relevant experience to this whatsoever, but what I do know is nonsense when I hear it, and I also know teenage boys.
I may not be
a veterinarian, but I know horse shit when I see it. Okay?
I may not be a professional in anything, but I am a professional in nonsense.
Yeah. I can see your bullshit a mile away.
Yeah.
Right. So, under the storm drain, the big great thing, there's this tunnel, but it's about 1 kilometre long. So it's, quite a long way. And not long as in you'd be able to stand up in it. So if you were going down this storm drain, you'd have to be lying down or flat, or you'd have to be crawling through. You wouldn't be able to stand. So
tall enough. You said long enough. It's not long enough to stand
Oh,
up in. And I
sorry.
was like,
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
meant,
okay.
yeah, not tall enough to stand up in. So you'd have to
So
be
it's
crawling
1 kilometre long, but
roughly.
not tall enough to stand up in. Okay.
Okay, and he's found about 950 metres into the storm drain. So
So you're saying that
that's
you
not
would have had
only...
to crawl 1,000
I'm not
meters?
saying anything, I'm reporting on the facts. You come to your own unbiased conclusion. And there's no light in there.
Uh-huh.
And somewhere along there's a big drop. Okay, so it would be quite horrific to be in there. And if he's just gone in and died within, I don't know, the first 5 meters, then his body has travelled all that way, or he's had to literally take himself through the whole storm drain.
And there's water, or there's no water at this point because there's not
Well,
flood.
Well, yeah, I mean, there'll be a bit from when it rains, but it's not full gushing out. No, it's not gonna. And these storm drains are managed by the Department of Infrastructure. The Department of Infrastructure, to me, sound like dipsticks. So they've inspected their storm drain. I don't know what you're inspecting it for, what blockages or whatever, about a week before Noah goes missing. And when they were done inspecting it, which sounds like the easiest job, you just walk around and look at a tunnel. Yeah, still there.
Have a torch and a clipboard, you know, that kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Is it still there? Yes. Awesome. But they didn't lock it, which obviously that's a great thing to do, you know, so that kids can get in there and dogs can fall in and all that stuff. Yeah. Great. Don't bother padlocking it. It's not that important, obviously. Then Noah goes missing, and on the 24th, 2 days before Noah is found, the department talks to the police and goes, oh, by the way, we left that storm drain open, we should lock it. So they lock it 2 days before. And then on the 26th, the police have to cut through the padlock to then find Noah.
They say to the police that we've locked it?
All I know, like I said, everyone's shady and trying to hide stuff. So you don't actually know what end of the stick you're being given, right? But apparently, on the 24th, they speak to the police and decide to lock it.
Why would they speak to the police about that?
Because the child's gone missing.
But why would they then say, oh, we left that open, then lock it without actually checking?
Unless the police are looking there and thinking, oh, that could be a dangerous place.
So then at what point did they actually go in and look? Like, what made them go in and look later on?
No idea.
Catherine,
no idea.
I'm already mad.
Well, I mean, get used to it. So he's about 950 metres into this, and they're saying, yeah, it was How would he have known this storm drain was unlocked? Okay?
Yeah.
It's behind houses. You wouldn't just know it was there. It's not in an area he knows. He's never been to this area. So they're saying that he has found an area he doesn't know, stripped off naked, gone between some houses, found a storm drain, climbed inside it, gone 950 metres into the storm drain, and then drowned. But the last search on his laptop, because they went through his laptop history...
If it wasn't how to drown in a storm drain, then
where will I find a storm drain unlocked?
Yeah.
No, it was Cave Hill where he'd planned to go with his friends.
Of course it was.
So he wasn't going to some random area that he doesn't know, going between two people's houses that he doesn't know, and climbing into a storm drain that was unlocked, that shouldn't have been unlocked, that just by chance was unlocked. Ooh. And also, when Fiona goes and sees his body, I mean, she talks about this and you can see the pain. And she's saying, he's perfect. He's beautiful.
Yeah.
But he has a huge lump on his forehead and a cut down the side of his face.
No head injury.
What? Now, if you are suicidal, you are not going to go down a storm drain. That is the worst possible idea. Not only may you not die, you may not die for ages. I hate to, have this conversation, but realistically, if you are going to commit suicide and you are a 14-year-old boy, you are going to find a way that's as quick and pain-free as possible.
Yeah, 100%.
You just are.
Mm-hmm. As with most people, not just 14-year-old boys.
No, but I mean, you. Let's say, for example, that there are more technical ways. You know, when you hear about people putting the carbon monoxide exhaust pipe into their cars, a 14-year-old is not known to know how to do that. There are very few ways in which a 14-year-old... I just don't buy it. I just don't buy that if you're going to commit suicide, that's what you're going to do.
But then also drowning is an awful way to die, and I'm sure there is a stat somewhere about how people do not try to commit suicide by drowning.
But also, you're not in a massive amount of water, so you're in a shallow amount of water. You're having to force yourself to get into that water and to stay under that water. No, don't buy it.
No, it's
anyway,
not right.
We are now going to discuss... So that's my issue with the storm drain. Like I said, this isn't all in order because things happen at random times in the investigation. But this is just me taking what I know and what I've read and what I've watched as into chunks. So that's my issue with the storm drain. Now we're going to go on to the issues with the CCTV. So there are at least 180 CCTV cameras along the route that Noah should have taken between his home and
180?
And where he was going. But according to the police, only about 20 of them have CCTV of Noah on them. And in total, there's about 9 minutes of CCTV of Noah along this entire route. So, have every single one of them been checked? No. Have all businesses and properties had requests from the police for their CCTV of that time and those dates? No. Why not? Because they believe this was no foul play and he climbed in there by himself. That's not a thorough investigation to be able to conclusively close all avenues and say no. Now, Belfast is about the 10th of the size of London, right?
Okay. It's not huge then. I didn't know that.
So in London, we have about 702,000 CCTV cameras. Belfast, considering it's only a 10th of the size of London, still has a huge amount of cameras. It's got 23,000 CCTV cameras, not including every Ring doorbell, every dash cam, everything that is everywhere all the time. And on Noah's route, there is a blind spot of about 180 metres, which does not have CCTV. But the rest of it, there should be CCTV. There's no, there's no trees, and Fiona even says this, in the city centre, there are no trees that can obstruct CCTV for exactly this reason, that they want all of it to be accessible. And why is it that they haven't checked all the CCTV? Because in an investigation like this, surely there should be absolutely no limit on the resources that you are, prepared to put into it. Because if you remember, when we covered the Millie Dowler case, and it cost them, £6 million to attempt to track down Levi Belfield. And I'll talk more about funding and the limits that they put on this funding to find out the real story. There's more on that, which is infuriating. But we have this 180 metre blind spot. Now, there is discrepancies in timings, as there always is, but this is basically the route that Noah travels. So, as expected, he travels up a road called Ormeau Avenue, okay, just after he's left his house. He's then going through the city centre, which again is as expected. He is then seen outside.
Sorry, so, and in this CCTV that they have, I know the CCTV isn't great, the quality, but he's looking and acting normal, right? He doesn't look suspicious or scared or looking over his shoulder or anything like that.
At this point, when he's outside of the university, he appears to be in control, all alone, everything's fine. He has his bag, he has his clothing, he has his helmet on, okay? Then the family are slightly confused about the route he's chosen to take from this point, because they say it's not the greatest area for a mixed race Catholic child. Now, like I said, there's a lot of religious issues and history in Ireland. And also, this is the longer route to Cave Hill. But he was attending a Catholic school and he was mixed race, so this wouldn't have been the best area to go through. But he's a teenager on a bike, and maybe he's just thinking, cycle here, cycle there. I don't know. I don't know. So then he is seen travelling towards somewhere called York Gate, but his bag has now gone. And the police are saying, yeah, he's probably ditching his stuff along the way before he commits suicide. In what world is a 14-year-old going to chuck off his backpack and his laptop?
So his bag goes missing in that 180-metre stretch of blind spot? Or is this a different blind spot that they haven't seen what he's done with his bag?
It doesn't say. Like I said, it's not entirely clear. Basically,
Right.
what Fiona is saying is, along Noah's route, there is only 180 metres that is not covered by CCTV.
Oh, so it's not necessarily all 180 metres in a row. It's just that there are...
No, it is. She's saying everywhere is covered other than this 180 metres, right? That does not mean we have access to the CCTV from everywhere else. The police are still saying that there's, they only have some CCTV. What Fiona is saying is the only CCTV that should not be available is that 180 metres, because that's what's not covered.
So the problem is that we don't know what happened to his bag, but we should know what happened to his bag. Yeah, okay.
Correct. So now he's seen without his bag. So he's gotten rid of his bag that has his laptop in it? No. Yeah. You're a single parent family in social housing. To have a laptop is a big thing.
Yeah, and the fact that he specifically took it because he wanted to work on his Duke of Edinburgh extra credit thing. Like, there was no need for him to take it out with him. Like, if he was just going to ditch it, he could have just left it at home. There was, like, absolutely no... Yeah, okay.
And he's then seen travelling along North Queen Street, where they later find his phone. Again, what 14-year-old is just chucking his phone there?
Yeah.
And then he is seen cycling towards the Grove Wellbeing Centre and falling off his bike. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, at this point, I was thinking, okay, devil's advocate, what if he really badly hurt himself, hit his head when he fell off his bike? But within a minute, he's got back up, got back on his bike and carried on. Secondly, a motorist stopped to help him, but said no, Noah just carried on, he was fine. And thirdly, he was wearing a skateboarding helmet. Now, if you think about where that big lump was on his forehead, could you please, if you know, if not, don't worry, what's the difference between a skateboarding helmet and a bike helmet?
For a skateboarding helmet, it covers the whole forehead. It basically just goes round. It's like a bowl cut.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So if he's come off and hit his head,
his helmet's going to protect his forehead.
It's not 100%, foolproof, but the CCTV doesn't indicate that he's gone down hard enough or has stayed down for a couple of seconds or anything like that. Within a minute, he's back up. Within a minute or two of that, he's then entered Northwood Crescent. Some things call it Crescent, some things call it Road, but I think this is the cul-de-sac. Now, again, could you just explain what a cul-de-sac is before we move on?
A cul-de-sac is just you kind of drive in and then it's just a round section. So there's like no through road. There's just houses in like a little curve at the top kind of thing. Yeah.
So it's a dead end basically. In this area they find his helmet, his bike. Some of the remaining clothes are lying on a wall, but there's no CCTV or witnesses seeing Noah removing his clothing. But the next time he is seen on CCTV, he is going between two houses, number 89 and 91, so obviously odd number houses. Is that in all countries? Does that happen? You have odd number, even number houses? So we have it that on one side of the road is odd numbers, on the other side is even numbers. So 89 and 91, he's seen going between the two houses. He is now naked and he goes through there, and that's where the storm drain is. That's what the CCTV is that we have. However, there are some discrepancies in all of this talk around CCTV, but I'm going to go with according to Fiona, because let's be honest, if anyone's going to know this case, it's going to be her. If your baby dies and you're not agreeing with what's happened, this is now my life. Like, I am now officially, this is my life. I will
You
know
are
everything.
officially lead detective, yeah. 100%.
I am lead detective, prosecutor, investigator,
advocate, everything. Yeah.
everything. Yeah. She's saying that a witness came forward and gave a 5-page statement saying that she was with a group of 4 men. These 4 men were drug addicts, and this witness believes that they might have attacked Noah. The place that
Wait. Where is this person from?
She's just a witness that comes forward.
And where does she say that she witnessed this?
She said that this happened in the 180 metres where the blind spot exists, according to the police, that this blind spot is of CCTV.
And these people attacked him?
Is what she's saying.
And where in that whole route is this 100-metre blind spot?
So this
is before or after he's fallen off his bike, before he lost his bag? Like,
let me just get the image up. It's called Great Victoria Street, and I believe it's before he's fallen off his bike and the cul-de-sac and all of that area.
So he's already lost his bag and his phone at this point?
I don't think he'd already lost his bag and his phone by this point. It was just before he'd fallen off the bike. But don't forget, we're not entirely sure when he lost the bike and stuff, because we also said, CCTV's crap quality. So that's also not determined. However, that same CCTV that was said to not exist, Fiona was then informed that this CCTV that did not exist had been used to track down a thief in that same 180 metres who stole someone's wallet. Fiona went on to make a comment on social media that this area had recently had £700 million worth of investment in that area, and that she believed that people wouldn't want to have known. They wouldn't want it put out that this attack could have happened because there's a uni and there's uni accommodation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Fiona was threatened with court action by the university solicitor for making that comment on Twitter. But she just said, I think that if something happened there, they wouldn't want it known because there's so much money invested into that area.
And they sued her?
They didn't. They threatened to. They threatened legal action against her.
Look at me, I'm throwing things around.
She's so mad, she's throwing stuff around. Do you see why this case is annoying? Because everything's itty-bitty and everything's all over the place and everybody's got...
Also, what kind of person that... So, there's this woman who is advocating for her son and has literally been through the worst trauma that you could possibly imagine, and they think, oh, you're bad-mouthing my university that has got $1 million worth of funding, but I'm going to threaten to sue her because she needs even more trauma in her life. What a dick, it's just have a little bit of a compassion, be a human and just think about what someone else is going through. That's so upsetting. I just couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine having this complaint or someone bringing something like this to my attention and thinking, yeah, you know what, I'm going to threaten to sue her. That's what that woman needs.
How dare she say that somebody may have been attacked near my university? No, not on my watch. Honestly.
And it's solicitor. That's not your university. You get absolutely from threatening to sue, except for being such a big bully. I hate people.
Also, surely, if I'm sending my kid to university, right, I want to know that in that area and with that university, if something happens to my child, you are digging everything up. You are putting a dome over this area and you are shutting the town down and you are finding out what happened. Yeah. Not something happens to this baby boy and we're just going to all be quiet because then people won't come to it. No, if something happens and you try and cover it up, there's going to be a bigger stink kicked up than if you just own it and go, look, this happened, we've investigated it thoroughly, these people are now in prison, and we have now put X, Y and Z security measures in place to make sure all of our young people and children are well protected. Not this. Yeah. This is going to make me never want to go to this area. This is going to make me never want to send my child to your university, because the fact of the matter is, it seems like you're all racist and it seems like you're not that interested in a child who's gone missing.
Yeah. Or in child safety in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Noah's rucksack was found, but not with Noah's body. And the woman who'd come forward was called Maria Nolan and a man called Daryl Paul, and they tried to sell Noah's laptop in a pawn shop, but they couldn't sell it because it didn't have a charger. So Daryl Paul has all kinds of convictions, but he gets 3 months for the theft of this laptop. But I was like, isn't that evidence tampering? Isn't it more than just theft?
I don't know if it's only evidence tampering if you purposefully do it knowing that it's evidence. Because if you don't know that it's evidence, are you still tampering with evidence? I don't know.
But either way, they still don't take this seriously enough, because the laptop was found in Maria Nolan's room at the hostel. You know, the woman who came forwards, and also the one who tried to get rid of the laptop. The laptop was found in her room. The police went in, took the laptop, but didn't arrest her. Just claimed the laptop. And earlier in the day of Noah's disappearance, apparently there is CCTV of this guy and this woman looking at Noah as he's cycling.
Huh.
And it said that later Paul found Noah's rucksack that evening in Great Victoria Street. The police went to where he lived, found the rucksack and the books, but they didn't check anything further, even though Noah was still missing at this point. There was also...
So they found his bag before they found Noah, and then they didn't even look into it?
Yeah. They also said that there was a man who was living at the hostel who was one of these people who was said to be like in that group who could have attacked Noah by this witness that came forwards, the Maria Nolan woman, the one who tried to sell the laptop. And he moved out of the hostel the day after Noah went missing.
Convenient.
None of this was looked into. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not giving you 100% clear, this happened on this day and this time, because I don't have it, because this is just information that's being collected by the people in that area. This is information that has not been corroborated by the police, because they haven't done anything with it.
Yeah, like, they haven't done their due diligence to look into these things. No.
The other thing that Fiona has raised is that 2 eyewitnesses see Noah cycling naked. And both of them, separately, do nothing with this information. And when they are spoken to later, they think, oh, it was a Father's Day prank, because this happened on Father's Day. So one woman doesn't phone the police for 30 hours. And so this is in the cul-de-sac. And the CCTV shows Noah on his bike, naked, cycling towards these 2 men. And both women who saw Noah cycling naked said, we thought this was a Father's Day prank. Both of you are mothers.
Okay, there are harmless pranks, and then there are...
making a child cycle naked towards 2 fully grown men. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly, that's not a Father's Day prank.
Even if you think it's a prank, this isn't funny and I'm going out there to protect this child. But then there is conversations about the fact that they are concerned now that this area has got an issue with a small minority of racist people. Okay, so you see this happening and you are scared to go out. I understand. You live on that road, you're in your house, you're scared. So why are you taking 30 hours to call the police? And there's 2 other incidents that have happened.
Wait. But we don't know who these 2 men are that he was cycling towards.
We just see them on CCTV.
Okay.
And don't forget, this is all being worked out by Fiona and by her supporters. Like, it's not all fitting in perfectly because the police are not doing their due diligence and finding out who all these people were and arresting and interviewing who they need to arrest.
Yeah.
It just all doesn't make sense. It just doesn't, nothing about it makes sense. But what I do know is that the police's story does not make sense. A few weeks before Noah went missing, another child was on his bike who's at the same school as Noah, and he was pushed off by a man and about 15 boys attacked him. The boy managed to get on his bike and get away, but because he was in an area he didn't know, he then got lost. And this was in the same area that Noah was in. Another child on a bike, and there was a car with, they said, an adult and 3 young adults, and they tried to attack him, but the child cycled away.
So 2 other children have been attacked whilst on their bikes in this same area, and they don't think that any of it's connected.
Okay, so now we're going to discuss the forensics, because obviously you've got clothes, you've got a bike, you've got a laptop, you've got Noah's phone, you've got his body. There's going to be stacks and stacks and stacks of forensics, right? Like, so much. I mean, where are you even going to start with all these forensics? We're in 2020, so there's all of these advancements in forensics. It's just such a big job. So
thank goodness they have so much forensic evidence that they can catch his killer.
So Noah's clothes, when they were found, were bagged up, but they forgot to seal the bags. So we lost a bit of forensics there. The bike was found outside of a woman's house, and she thought, child's gone missing, there's a bike, and she called the police 24 hours later. So the bike was left outside for 24 hours, so we've lost some forensics there. The laptop was not checked for fingerprints. The Tuesday when he's gone missing, some of his clothes are found on the street, but they don't close the street for forensics because the bin men have to drive down the street and collect everyone's bins. The bins that potentially will contain evidence of where a child went missing and his clothes were found. The bin men have to come and collect all the bins.
I don't remember if I actually mentioned this in the case, but when I was looking into the Leanne Tiernan case, remember they did thorough searches as soon as they knew that Leanne Tiernan had gone missing. They even...
You told me they stopped the bin men, didn't they?
Yeah, they stopped the bin men coming through. Like, they just paused that and said, no bins are being collected because we need to double check this because this kid's gone missing.
They had to take the bins out this time. It was really vital. They also failed to check Noah's phone GPS. So, you know the really handy tool on your phone where I can see where you've been? They then had Noah's phone in their possession, but it took them months to check the GPS because that's a big job as well. The pathologist says Noah died from drowning, and so he was found on the 27th of June, and the pathologist requested a water sample from the storm drain because obviously if he's died of drowning in the storm drain, the water that's in the storm drain will be the same water that's in his lungs.
Let me guess, they didn't get a sample of the water in the storm drain.
No, that's never been checked.
It's never been checked, or it's never been collected, or both.
It's never been collected. Both. However, a month later, the solicitor, Fiona's solicitor, asks for a water sample, and the inspector in charge said, yes, we'll give you a water sample, and that's been agreed. Yes, we must do that. But he's a big fat liar because he'd already been asked, and the water sample was never taken. So we have no way of knowing if he actually drowned in that storm drain or drowned somewhere else and was then put in the storm drain because they've never checked that. Also, Noah's body was in the drain for 6 days, apparently, right? So he should be like a prune, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's a long time.
And the experts are saying, this is how he should have looked. But when Fiona went to identify him, she said, no, none of that. He was perfect. There was absolutely nothing. And in the pathology report, it says the only parts that looked like they had been submerged in the water were his hands and his feet. Because obviously, thinnest part of your skin, right? This is the first, when you're in the bath, the first bit that prunes is your hands and your feet. And in the pathologist report, it says they're the only bits that looked like they've been in water. And that wouldn't be right if he'd been in there for 6 days. The next thing that doesn't make sense, right, we can't trust jailhouse informants, if that's what they're called, or like confessions made by prisoners. However, they are none of this stuff is even being looked into. So apparently there's 2 guys in prison And one of them tells the other one, so A tells B, that they had been a part of Noah's murder. And the person he told went to Fiona's team when he was released. So person B, he goes off to Fiona's team with a statement, and he explains what had happened. And he said that this guy has told me they drowned Noah in a bathtub. But the police never took it seriously. The police never questioned him, and that's why the water sample is so important. Now, that doesn't really make sense. If you're thinking about the timeline of the CCTV, if Noah's going through those houses naked, it doesn't make sense that he was then actually taken somewhere else, drowned in a bathtub and put into there. However, that's not to say that he went into that storm drain on his own accord or anything else. You know, if he was told to go through there and then was taken and killed somewhere else and then put back into the storm drain, I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. She also says that when she sees him on the CCTV in the cul-de-sac, she's saying, I know my baby. And when he is cycling, he looks exhausted, like there's something wrong, you know, and she's adamant that something here is not right. Something here is happening. So on the Tuesday evening that he had gone missing, Fiona had said, that's it, you have to get a detective round here now to talk to me. And Fiona's saying, who are you interviewing? Whose houses are you going into? Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. And the detective...
What are you doing?
What are you doing to look for my baby? And, you know, you obviously have this fear of, like, what if he's being held somewhere? What if he's in someone's home nearby and I'm just not there to help him? Do you know what I mean? And when the detective spoke to her, he said, no, we can't go into people's homes. If you want us to go into people's homes, you have to go and ask them if we can come in, and then we'll go in and search them. And it's like, hold on, what is your job? Yeah. But also, Fiona's argument was, if there is a child missing and you've got nothing to do with it, you will let us search your garage, your back gardens, like everything. If you think a child is hurt, by all means, go and look in my garage, in my garden. If you think somebody's gotten stuck somewhere, you go, like we do it for dogs and cats all the time. You know, my cat's gone missing. Please check your garages. Please check your sheds. Please check your cosy places, do you know? But no, that's what the police said. And Fiona says that she thinks that something's not right here. She's saying it could be incompetence, but it also could be that this is being covered up because of the amount of unrest that this would have caused. And she's saying that there are amazing people, like this community is quite divided in a lot of ways, but there are amazing people on both sides, and it is a small minority on either side who have these issues. But she's saying there is an issue somewhere, something is not right. So that's all the information I have right now. I want to read you a really boring document. Well, I say boring, it's really mean, but it's a long document. Fiona put in a request for Freedom of Information Act.
Can you confirm in total how many officers and expert personnel are being deployed in currently investigating the Noah Donohoe case, and the titles and lines of expertise of such staff? Can you confirm if and when the expert opinion of a forensic psychologist was or has been sought thus far at any point at all in this case? I'm guessing this was actually put forward by her legal team or her supporters. But like, it's on the side of Noah. Can you please provide me with all and any details concerning the apparent community consultation your organisation has alleged it had within the vicinity in which Noah went missing and was found dead? Can you please explain why you refused to provide the leaflet concerning the above to his mother, Fiona Donohoe, when she has a right to this under Freedom of Information legislation, given that it was about the strange disappearance and death of her son? So they're saying that they handed out this leaflet. They're saying, okay, can we have some more information on that? And also, can the mum have a copy of it? Well, you know, you're handing out information about her kid. Can you see it? Can you please provide me with a copy of the same leaflet under the Freedom of Information Act 2000? If you should refuse this, outline why in detail. Can you confirm if police from any other jurisdictions have been consulted or deployed in this investigation? If so, please outline precedent cases that they have worked on which would make them suitably qualified. Can you explain why you have yet to mandatorily warrant by law any and all relevant CCTV footage within the vicinity whereby Noah disappeared and died? Have you questioned or arrested anyone yet in connection with Noah's disappearance and death? I am not requesting their identity, simply an answer as to how many people you have or have not questioned or arrested, if any at all. Do you believe it appropriate or reassuring to the public to refuse requests for information via use of antiquated legislation surrounding so-called official secrets in a case involving the disappearance and death of a child? Has the Minister of Justice conveyed any concerns at all to your organisation regarding this case, yes or no? How many Freedom of Information requests have you received and responded to regarding this case? Have any MLAs or MPs contacted you to express concerns regarding your transparency or lack thereof regarding this case? Have you any informants within the locality of Noah's death and disappearance who may be able to shed some light on what happened to him, yes or no? Can you please provide the names of the most senior officers investigating this case to present for purposes of reporting them to the Police Ombudsman Office? Why did your organisation claim that they suspected no foul play in Noah's death prior to an autopsy and sufficient medical examination being carried out by someone professionally qualified? Can you confirm in detail if you would agree that this was a potential case of misconduct in public office by way of fraud in doing so when the officer who made the statement to the world media was not medically qualified? Is anyone under surveillance regarding this disappearance and death? Yes or no? I am not asking for their identity, merely a clarification. Are you aware that your actions and inactions regarding this matter have greatly eroded trust and respect in policing among not just the Catholic nationalist community, particularly, but wider public, who feel you are either overlooking information or concealing it? If so, what is your response to this most serious collapse in confidence? In total, how many calls have you received so far concerning this case? I am asking for a figure. Are you aware that substantial numbers of people in the general public feel you may use the issue of COVID-19 and emergency legislation to avoid pursuing this case robustly to a conclusion? And what measures do you intend to take to reassure them that this is not the case, given the enormous importance placed in securing answers and accountability for the Donohoe family and wider public? Can you clarify if and which other security service agencies you have liaised with throughout this investigation? Will your organisation consider holding several community consultations with citizens of North Belfast who are from both the Catholic and Protestant communities in suitable venues, so that they may raise their concerns and have these documented? Are you actually even pursuing the Noah Donohoe case as a live murder investigation? Have you ruled murder out as a potentiality? How many door-to-door searches have you conducted in search of Noah's missing belongings in total? Do you suspect any paramilitary involvement in this case in any sense at all so far? Have any fingerprints and other tests been conducted so far on Noah's belongings and clothing, including the storm drain area whereby his body was recovered from? Has any explanation yet been reached with the Department of Infrastructure as to how a child of Noah's height and weight could even access this storm drain when a nearby resident claimed that his own daughter of a younger age and smaller size could not do so? Has the PSNI, which is the Northern Irish Police, ruled out any element of hate crime in this case?
So that is all of the questions that we've been asking.
Really long. I thought I was going to fall asleep halfway through that. That was really, really long. I'm sorry.
Wow. But are any of those questions unfair?
No. All of them.
They are all the questions that we want answered, right?
That's like yeah, but I mean, not even just us. That's the bare minimum of what Fiona should have been given access to anyway.
To understand the case that I've just told you, that's what we need answered up to this point. Like,
yeah,
it's just
100%.
the basic stuff. It's nothing in depth. It's nothing in detail. You'll notice they even say in there, like, I'm not asking for names. Just give me a number. Just tell me how many things. I want you to guess their response.
They said, no comment. We can't provide this information.
Nope.
What did they say?
They said we can't provide the information, but this is why. It requires the police service of Northern Ireland, when refusing to provide such information, to provide the applicant with a notice which states that fact. So they're basically saying we have to give you a reason as to why. It is estimated that the cost of complying with your request of information would exceed the appropriate costs limit. The appropriate limit is currently £600 for central government and £450 for all other public authorities.
Wait, they're saying they've allocated £600 to Noah's case?
To answering this in the Freedom of Information Act. So they're saying that they can basically, under those regulations, they can calculate the time spent on each of these at £25 an hour. So if it takes more than 18 hours to respond to these questions, it's beyond the appropriate limit and they're not going to provide them with that information. £600.
I genuinely have no words. Like,
can I have one more thing that will just anger you beyond everything? In March 2021, a walk happened in support of Noah and his family. The police felt that this was a breach of COVID regulations and therefore wanted to question Fiona in relation to this breach in COVID legislation. It's not funny, but what?
If I were Fiona, I would have sat there in the interrogation room for 18 hours and demanded that they sit there and do it for me. Because it's like, if you sit there and answer all of those questions, because if you can have an officer come in and interview me, interrogate me, then why not use that same officer to look up this information that I need to know?
Fiona came out and said, oh, the police want to talk to me about breach legislation relating to COVID-19 regulations. And then, funnily enough, her solicitor has now been informed. This was 2 years, 2022. Her solicitor has now been informed that the police are reconsidering the matter. Of course you are, because you realise it makes you look like idiots, makes you look like more than idiots. It makes you look like incompetent bullies, is what it makes you look like. So that is the tragic story of Noah Donohoe, who was murdered, as far as I'm concerned.
So what is the actual theory? What I'm struggling to understand is that obviously he didn't crawl into that storm drain himself. So what is the theory that we're working with as to how he got in there? Because obviously we know that he was cycling naked. We know that he was cycling naked towards 2 men, whether or not that's relevant. We know that he lost his bag, but and he had that big bump on his head. What is the actual theory that we think actually happened? Because that's not clear to me right now. Or
I don't think it's clear to anyone. I think the fact is that people are nervous to speculate because speculation it can just cause problems and it can lead people in the wrong direction. I think at the minute the point is something happened.
Yeah. And the fact is that we don't know what that was.
We don't know what happened. Yeah. I would probably think this is something linked to Noah's race, and I think he's probably been robbed and humiliated and bullied by adult men. And he is a baby who was scared.
He must have been so terrified.
And also, Fiona said, no, sorry, my son was scared of the dark. He's not going down a storm drain. Like, Leo won't go in our cellar.
Yeah.
No. This child did not leave his house knowing that there was a storm drain unlocked for a week. He'd not cased the joint. He's not worked out that's the case and that's how I'm going to... No. Sorry, but no. And I don't know why you would cover this up. The fact is that as soon as people try and cover things up in this day and age, all it does is make more people be like, something's going on there. Yeah. You don't want us to talk about a murder there. Make it so there's never a murder there ever again. Yeah. Don't make it that we're not going to talk about this one. Because...
but why would the police be covering it up? Like, what? Unless it was someone from the police force or
again,
there's something bigger going on here.
It's just... There's a lot of speculation, again, about it being to do with race. These two kind of, and political factions and even conversations like there were in that question of, was the paramilitary involved? I don't know. Like I said, there's a huge amount of speculation and it's dangerous to do so, but there's something. Yeah. Someone knows something. Like we've always said, someone knows something, someone knows an answer. Yeah. And I genuinely don't care about political factions or your religious beliefs, because both Catholics and Protestants should believe that murder of an innocent child is wrong. And I know that 99% of them will, but why those 1% should drag everyone down? Just... Honestly, give this poor mother and community and family some closure. And police you did not join the police force. Please tell me to cover up and hide things.
But the thing is that Fiona's not even asking for closure at this point. She's just asking for support. She's asking for the bare minimum. Yeah, my heart bleeds for her. Like that's
just
so,
to
I can't
say,
imagine.
We don't know what happened. However, this was clearly suspicious. This was, it's ruled as a suicide. No, I'm sorry, no.
It's not. Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. Well, that's made me incredibly angry. Thank you very much.
Do you know what? I'm glad, because I think everyone needs to be angry about this case. Yeah. And I think everyone needs to be, if they want you to not talk about it, then freaking talk about it.
I genuinely have never heard Noah's name. I've never heard of this story before, which infuriates me even more, because why haven't we? Why hasn't there been more outrage about this? Like, get this out there. Get this next episode ASAP.
And also, he's such... Can I just show you... Oh, no, it's on my thing. Can you just, search him right now?
Okay, wait.
Right now.
I'll need to do it on my phone.
And tell me, have you ever seen such a precious baby angel? This child is just an angel.
That picture of him with his mum with the biggest smile on his face.
Got the biggest grin. And she looks glowing and gorgeous and radiant. Yeah. And when you see her now, This woman is broken.
Oh.
Like, her life is... Oh, when you hear her talk, she's just the heart up. I can't. So let's get this wrapped up and out there. But thank you so much for listening. Thanks, Chica, for being here.
Thank you so much for talking about such an important story. I hope that we can make a small difference in
Me too. And to our regular 35 listeners, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you. It means the world that you're here. So please go and share it with our 36th listener, because they're somewhere just waiting to find us and they don't even know how much they're going to love us yet.
If you don't do anything else, share this episode. You know, this one needs to be listened to.
Or just a picture of him and just a picture of his face and his name. Yeah. Go and follow us and everything, and have a wonderful day, and we love you all very much.
Yes.
Bye.
Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.